right, so our last presenter of the night is another one of our faculty members here. Dr. Eric Johnson is professor in the history department, and he is going to talk about, how do you even say that, anthrophage monsters? I will let you talk about it.
Yeah, mine's kind of academic nerd chic, I think. Okay, so anthrophage, what does that word mean? It means eating humans. And so I spent a lot of my research time, and I did my Fulbright year in southern France. And so you see the area that's lit up here. That is the first part of Roman France before Caesar went in and conquered the rest of Gaul. This is part of France. And in this time, intermixing with the Romans, this is one of my favorite objects, favorite statues here, and it's called the Tarasque of Noves. So the Tarasque is the name of this monster, and it's part of a larger Celtic culture in the region that still survives, well, just remnants of it. So for example, these monuments here, they're in a museum now, but the little holes in there, those were meant to hold human skulls. And so this is a detail of the Tarasque of Noves there, and I want to point out something. So it's a man-eating monster. It's got a piece of a human hanging out of its mouth, but it's also got that erect phallus there. And so it's kind of a death cult where death and life and rebirth are intertwined. And so this is part of a popular ritual in the town of Tarascon, which is named after this monster along the Rhone River. Here's an image of, it's a very old tradition going back centuries and centuries. And I want to point out the little girl there holding a ribbon. That is a very special detail. That is Saint Martha, and Saint Martha is literally mentioned in the New Testament. And so one of the things that this does, this is the earliest part of Rome outside of the Italian peninsula. It's also one of the earliest sites for Christianity spreading across the Mediterranean. And the story goes that Martha, Mary Magdalene, and their brother Lazarus, who Jesus raised from the dead, and a bunch of other people mentioned, are sent out on a boat, no rudder, no sail, and they miraculously land in the other side of the Mediterranean at this little town right here. And the church there, you can see it's been fortified. It's been fortified for against pirates. Pirates from North Africa used to come up to the coast there and grab people from the villages and sell them into slavery. And so this is supposedly the site where the boat miraculously landed. And so this is Saint Sarah. And Saint Sarah was their servant girl, but she's also traditionally well, we would call it gypsy, but the Roma is the more preferred name for them. And just look at the crowd here. Les Saintes-Maries de la Mer has become a central place for the Roma of Europe, and they gather there every year. Mary Magdalene, very famous. She is often represented as this repentant prostitute. There's no direct link with her and prostitution, but kind of the opposite of Eve, reformed woman. And this is where Mary Magdalene supposedly spent the rest of her life doing penance for her sins of the flesh. This is another site here, and so one of the things that is interesting about these dragon stories is that they're all over the place in Provence. So this is a place called the Fontaine de Vaucluse. It's a river source. On the left there you saw when the water level's low, and it's the source of the Sorgue River. And this is a bishop. So there's another dragon creature. Just like St. Martha had defeated a dragon, St. Varan did the same thing. And so this is Arles, another picture of a man-eating monster there. You can kind of make it out. It's a little bit eroded away. But, you know, once I started learning about this Tarasque of Noves, I started seeing these man-eating monsters, these man-eating dragon-type creatures all over the place. So this one, for example, if you can make it out, the top there is, some sort of creature. And then I was very happy to learn, as a former Dungeons and Dragons player, first generation, I've got the original books and everything. This is one of the worst monsters you can ever encounter. They didn't have Tarrasques in D&D when I was playing, but they do now. And stay away from them if you can. Thank you.